Friday, Friday. My mouth a little, my numbness is wearing off. I had to go in and get, didn't have to get a root canal, thank goodness, but he did do 2 crowns at the bottom. So I got temporary crowns in. So my mouth is feeling a little, now it's, the medicine, the Novocaine is finally wearing off, and my lip isn't as heavy. I can feel a little bit down here. Which is to be expected. So I'm going to bed soon. But I wanted to say, I done heard we need some men. We don't need no more replications or representations of faggots, um, the effeminate, the scared to be a man because the Jezebel that you with or whoever raised you gonna be mad because they don't like men because they want to be over men. We don't need no more of them. We don't need no more representations of them, especially not in the DC area. Um, I saw the interview they did with this guy on TV. A 13-year-old was arrested for carjacking. Now that's not new, unfortunately, because that's what's allowed. They're being raised to do that, and then you have politicians like the recently elected Janice George Lewis. Um, I didn't elect her. I'm gonna say that every time. I don't want nobody to think I'm stupid. I didn't elect her because I already know, like, um, some young adults know and stated the fact. Why would you elect somebody to say that curfews are a problem when children are a problem running around the city? And people, well, they say in the comments, oh, why don't you not charge the parents, look at the parents? But I bet you some of them voted for. But anyway, so the 13-year-old, he wasn't by himself. I think they caught him, but they waiting on the other one. But I saw the interview on Fox 5. And I want to play it again because I'm like, dude, where are your balls? Like, you need to be getting some men together and being like, oh, nah, it's not going to stand. This man, I think he a man. I don't know, this area, since they so into representation, I think most of he's probably effeminate. Definitely less than. But anyway, so he doing the interview and he, was saying, I can't believe, and now he's writing this statement that I can't believe I was carjacked or robbed by a baby. Yeah, baby, 13, it's a baby. So the first part of the outrage and the festivity that we all should have is why are these kids in the news at 13? They're getting younger and younger and younger. No, no, no. Y'all ain't on that. Y'all ain't. No, no. Because to me, that should be troubling enough. And it's not the fact that, okay, you get one or two periodically, but we getting too many that's doing the same thing. But then this gentleman, I'm going to be nice right now. No, damn on that app. Ain't no more niceness. That's why I'm using F words, the faggot and all that. Because y'all need to hear these words again. Because you need to stop thinking that it's something to be with. He goes on to say, when the man asks, well, how do you feel, about the area and would you like that? And he said, oh, it's just the area that we're in. This is why, and I was just telling my mother this, this is why people in my age group and over are the problem. And why so many young people are the problem. You actually have convinced yourself and raised and bought into the rhetoric that this area, you supposed to expect crime? You supposed to expect 13-year-olds? Here he come. You supposed to expect 13-year-olds to carjack and use a shotgun? Oh, the 13-year-old had a shotgun. So we're supposed to expect that? Why? because the robbery happened in Southeast DC, or it ended in Southeast. Like when wiser adults were living, and some of them still are living, so I know they probably looking now like, what the heck is wrong with y'all? But then again, I don't know. Some of them done flipped their minds sideways in their wigs, so I don't know. But I never heard coming up, when I was born in 1970, I never heard from my mother or my grandparents, oh, well, we over here in Ward 8. No. What I knew was I was middle class. My grandfather was a pastor. My mother had a job. I was in private school. And I knew that I needed to tend to my education, talk appropriately, take care of myself, and have pride in how I look and where I live. And to not disrespect or make my family look bad. Now, did I do it all? No, I messed up in a lot of regards. Yeah, I did. But because it was discipline instilled in the household, and because we still had adults that were around us that our parents knew, and if they said, oh no, that's not, you listened, you respected them because your parents would know, and you get in trouble. What? So this is why a lot of you are definitely inferior in the mind. I'm not inferior. I'll tell you that much, because I wasn't raised to be. I never was raised to think of myself as inferior or a victim or oppressed. That's why I can't get on board with the foolishness that so many people talk about, because you're not. The only time I was oppressed, because I've had a good life growing up. No, I didn't grow up broke. I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, well, when I grew up. I feel like people lie now about they grew up, our family didn't have this, that, and that. I ain't never know what it was like to be hungry or to starve. I had nice clothes, nice shoes, nice purses. I went to private school, then went to Catholic school. All my life. So I can't sit here and tell people, oh, I live so. I didn't. And if I tried to say it, it would be an affront and a slap in my grandfather's face for somebody who actually did come up and made something out of himself and for himself and made a name. It's certain things that I don't. Was I dumb in my late teens, early 20s? Yeah, I was. Very. But I also, but it was oh my God. Because I recognize my name. Because a lot of people in the area know the last name Lipscomb. Because it's a real last name. And they're, yeah. It's my grandfather. A name like that, you can't go, you don't just be out here waving a flag trying to disrespect it. Okay? Now, did we all turn out? No. We all made mistakes. Some big mistakes, some little mistakes. So we all made mistakes. But we knew better. And at some point, it was like, dang, did we really do that? Shame kicked in. Because you wasn't raised that way. So what's missing today, people not being raised no kind of way but to be trash and think themselves less than because you have allowed these liberal idiots. I was proud. My daughter said to me one day, she was on the bus with some of her friends. I think it was in Virginia. She was somewhere. And some Skittle hairs, because I know they were Skittle hairs. Whether the hairs were Skittle or not, I know that they was of that brand. She's talking about, I guess trying to make it sound like, how white liberals talk about black people like we just dumb. We don't know how to get ID. I got ID. You want to see it? That's why I'm like, y'all sit up and be listening to these people. You don't listen to nobody to tell you that you less than. And then you got your pulpits telling you to speaking that. But then in the same breath, they telling you less than. But then you supposed to be prideful and arrogant about being a menace. Are y'all stupid? Does anybody see the mental schizophrenia? But then again, when you want to sit and, like I said, stop talking and listening to people. You supposed to cut people off when they telling you that boys are girls and girls are boys. So many of you always talking about God, and you going to church and you got Bible. So what are you studying? You're not studying the Bible. These people, they deviating and cutting the Bible up. I done seen a mentee, not just white pastors. I've seen mentee black pastors, especially the black pastors, tearing the word of God up like they own it. You don't own the Bible. Care what color you are. It's some black men and some white men. Some foreign born men that actually have met Jesus and can preach the word better than any of these black jokers out here. They keep running around trying to use all these theatrics because they know theatrics is all many of you all can do. You do sugar and theatrics. But at the end of the day, the children, 13, out here in the streets, robbing people. And instead of that man saying, oh, it's the area that we in, as a man, at what point do men say, oh no, man, these kids off the chain. Man, they robbing people. We got to go to work. We work hard. Our wives, daughters, girlfriends, mistresses. Yeah, I'm going to add that in there too. Mistresses and this, that, and the other. Men used to worry about everything that was attached to them. Oh, not no more. Not no more. Y'all done allowed these Jezebel spirited sex pots and thirsty to be out of order individuals to make y'all sit down. When daggone well, y'all need to be, oh no. If y'all got to be out there, and I'm not saying you got to take, why y'all need to be set, y'all need to be catching y'all some of these 13-year-olds, scan the damn hell out of them. Didn't I grow up in D.C. was the murder capital in the 90s? Weren't we the murder capital? Not all of y'all dead. Not all of y'all dead. Not all of y'all ended up with life sentences in jail. So some of y'all, I know y'all still know what it's like and what you need to do to your sons and grandsons and nephews and godsons and your goddaughters and stuff too. What the heck is wrong with y'all? We got a problem. In this area, you done did too much replicating the sissy sassiness. We don't need no more of that. And we don't need no more of these freaking women. But here y'all go. Here y'all go. Will not learn. So, this is the area that we're in. So, because we in this area, you can't tell the children that they can do better and be better. Because you're in this area, you got to go to the John on Alabama Avenue, and a lot of the staff look like they haven't washed or combed their hair because they work at the John on Southeast, up there on Alabama Avenue. When I go in there to get my prescriptions, it ain't but maybe one or two that actually look like they care about how they look. The rest of them, because it's you in Southeast. I'm glad I was never raised that way. And I can't even say that it's because I was in a middle class neighborhood. My grandparents weren't even raised that way. It was a time when when they were poor, they were raised with values and substance because they didn't want their kids to stay poor. They didn't expect their kids to stay in the hood. Then once they got out of the hood, they wasn't trying to go back. What is it that now you all are so beholden and you scared of being successful because niggas tell you that you think you better than them? No, you're not better than them. You just better at focusing on not being the same limited individual. They think that you're better than them. That's what that is when somebody says it to you. But what? But men, you a man. It's a turn off to see men act like that and to say that. Oh, it's the area that we in. So you just supposed to just throw your hands up. That's not a mannish thing to do. That's not manly. You need to be getting some dudes on the phone. Oh, I forgot there's too many sassies in the area. And y'all too. I told y'all months ago, women, they hate y'all anyway. And these not even women. No, let me scratch that. Because women, I'm a woman. I love men. I want y'all to do what y'all need to do. I want y'all to be in charge and leading and paying and providing and doing what you're supposed to do. What God assigned for you to do. Because I got what God assigned for me to do. I want that. I'm a woman. The rest of these females dominated by Jezebel, they don't like you no way. If y'all can't tell already, that's why they always bashing you. If you don't like them or don't want to talk to them, they call you gay. They tell your sons are gay. They don't like you no way. So you need to go head on, get serious, and straighten up your children in these neighborhoods. Y'all need to be on guard because there's too many enemies that have broken out and they're in all the hen houses. They in your family, they in the church, they in the schools, they in the gas station, they in office buildings. They been in the government. And instead of addressing them because you're scared to be called a name, they're going to call your name anyway because that's all they know. Because they don't have nothing but the devil's plans that they working on. And for you to sit there as a man to say, oh, this is the area that we in. So what, we all supposed to just be cool? If all these 13-year-olds get shotguns, since this is the area that we're in, so is that all we can raise these children to do and to be? All of us weren't raised like, the reason why I know something is wrong is because no other generations of people would have allowed or sat or even taught, with few exceptions. There was exceptions. The rule in generations before now was to instill values and make sure them children were educated to the point that you made sure that even if you couldn't read, they read to you in the evenings. I've heard that countless of times from people that said their grandparents or their parents had XYZ amount of education because they had to go to work. They had to go to work to help do this and the other around the house. But they had education. And then people put their kids through school. Not one, not two. Sometimes they had 3, 4 kids. They put them through school. And them kids became something. And guess what, black folks? You wasn't always broke. You decided to be broke on your own. And a lot of you ain't broke today, so I don't understand what y'all be talking about. But to allow or to think that the kids being 13, oh, it's just the area that we're in. But y'all had that mindset. Oh, it's DC. When we talk about doing better in DC or cracking down on crime, oh, it's DC. Why? Because y'all feel as though y'all here and that's all you can do or that's all your kids can do. That's something that y'all doing. Y'all gonna let back to my daughter on the bus. The little white liberal skittle hairs or whatever they were, probably had bull nose rings. They tried to act like, being black. Oh, my daughter looked, she said, I ain't oppressed. You know who is oppressed? Them, for being so dumb in their thinking. But that's how they always think. They done thought that since back in the day when they was running the plantation. Oh, but they really haven't had to change much because they still running a plantation. Stop thinking that just because you live wherever you live, because people say this is a bad, take care where you live. Because when you take care where you live, that says a lot about you and your expectations for life and yourself. And it will aim you in a direction other than the same old. Because when you can't do no better, see no way out of where you are. You won't get nowhere from there. It happens in your mind first. That's how I know a lot of y'all ain't reading your Bible. And going to church, just sitting there for being a signifying monkey, just like all this virtue signaling that be going on out here. Because you don't know nothing. Why are you speaking the language of the world when you need to be speaking the language of the God? And God said that you are an overcomer and a more than just a conqueror with him. I'm telling you, man. Y'all run around here 13 years old. And that ain't the first one. It's just the first time we done heard with a shotgun. But they probably been more of them. But y'all, this just the area that we in. No, this just the sorry ass adults that have allowed this area and many others around the country to be trash because these people done told you you was trash and you can't have no better, so you need your standards to be low. Because you ain't expected to do nothing but go on a carnival cruise and tear up because you're ignorant. And y'all buying to it. And then the rest of us don't want to act like that. Oh, you want to be white. Well, I don't want to be a nigger acting anything. Black, white, whatever. Because trailer park trash act niggerish too. So it's not limited to a color. But no, I don't want to be that. Because it's not becoming. And it's certainly not what God said that we are. You don't have to act gutter. That's not godly. But y'all just worried about, oh, because it's supposed to be called being white. No, it's called acting like you got some home training and not like an animal. But if you want to be an animal, go ahead. Why don't y'all go to the zoo, National Zoo? Y'all know where it is. Just get off these streets and leave us the heck alone.